Hello and welcome to Captain Stephanie Lincoln. Now, y'all know each last Friday of the month, how we do here on the Veterans Community Hour, we talk about health and fitness. So Captain Lincoln is here again. So thank you for coming in, Captain Lincoln.
Thank you for having me, Cliff.
All right. Now, usually we talk about health and fitness each last Friday of the month. Captain Lincoln is the founder, owner, and CEO of Fireteam Whiskey, which sponsors the Veterans Community Hour. And Fireteam Whiskey is also a health and fitness protocol that utilizes nutrition and exercise to help people get into shape. All right. And you can check out their website, fireteamwhiskey.com. They also have a Facebook page, Fireteam Whiskey, to kind of see a little bit about what the protocol is about. Again, it uses nutrition and exercise to help people get into shape. And there's also just healthy tidbits of information shared on the website in people's quest to get into shape. So I encourage everyone to visit the website and keep supporting the Veterans Community Hour and the sponsorship of Fireteam Whiskey of this show. So thank you again, Captain Lincoln, for being here. Now, I want to get started with today's show. We're going to do something a little different today. We're going to be talking about breast cancer. And October is nationally known as Breast Cancer Month. So we want to acknowledge all of the survivors. And we also want to acknowledge all of the people that are currently battling this terrible disease. And we also want to encourage you, if you are in a battle with breast cancer, to keep the faith and keep a positive attitude, and make sure that you are incorporating a healthy diet into your lifestyle, doing what the doctor tells you to do, and just keep your head up and keep the fight. And also, I want to say to those people who did not survive breast cancer, you'll never be forgotten, and your families will always love and remember you. So breast cancer is not something that is forgotten by the people who lost their family members. It'll never be forgotten because they took your loved one away. But I just want to encourage you family members who lost someone, that to keep your loved one in memory, and know and hope that they are in a better place because their suffering is over. All right, Captain Lincoln, welcome to the show today. I want to thank you for sharing this very important information about breast cancer with our audience.
Yeah, and we've done kind of similar focus on topic in the past. We talked about diabetes, and I just thought that this month, with it being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, that I just wanted to share some health information, and just of course with the caveat that I'm not a doctor, so this is not medical advice, but there's some important information that we all need to know. So if you are listening to this and you're a male and you're like, well, this doesn't pertain to me. First of all, males do get breast cancer. It is a lower rate, but yes, men are affected by this disease as well. And second of all, you probably have a woman in your life, whether it be a sister or a daughter or a mother, that may potentially or has already been touched by this disease. So, it's important for all of us to just be aware of the things that may put a person at higher risk of developing this disease, and also some natural things that you can do every single day to reduce your risk of developing this disease. So I just wanted to focus on that really important information. So maybe if you're a male listening to this, you can kind of learn some of this information and present it in a loving manner to the women that you care about in your life. But even more importantly, concerned Cliff, that I wanted to bring first and foremost to the topic is that most people don't know that military women have a higher risk of breast cancer. than non-military women.
Mm-hmm. That's a very interesting tidbit of information, because when you think of a terrible disease such as diabetes or breast cancer or something like that, you really don't categorize it because it's a human disease. But it's really amazing and fascinating to find out that military women are suffering at a higher rate.
Yeah. So and here's the statistics, and it is significant. So and there are nationality and ethnic lines as well. So white women who have served in the armed forces have a 19% higher risk of developing breast cancer compared to white women who have never served in the military. And African American women have a 37% higher risk than African American women who have not served in the military. So I just wanted to present that information. That's a significantly different rate. So that's the difference between, 6 more women out of 100,000 for white women, and about 10 more black women out of 100,000 who would get diagnosed.
Okay, and you got this information from a 2009 Walter Reed Army Medical Center study, correct?
Yep. So this is from Walter Reed, so that they do this research and study these things, and their mission is to treat veterans, and they have noticed in their research this increased rate for military women.
Wow. And we could sit here and speculate all day about why these numbers are where they are. Let's talk about a few possible factors that play into this high risk. These numbers are startling.
Yeah, and that's the first question that I've been posting about this statistic in the last few weeks, because it is October, and I have gotten some questions from female veterans, and they ask, why is that? Mm-hmm. Why is there a difference? And there is a lot of speculation, but there's 4 main theories out there as to why this is. And the first one is actually pretty simple. It's just the fact that veterans have a little bit more access to healthcare and frequent screening. So maybe possibly just because that they have VA care or they're active duty, they have TRICARE, they actually have access to get these frequent screenings. Mm-hmm. The second theory is that women in the military are actually more often employed in jobs where they're exposed to those volatile organic compounds that are known to increase your risk factor of developing all sorts of kind of health issues, but especially cancer. So there was a study done in the Navy Environmental Healthcare that found that Army women who had been exposed to at least one volatile organic compound during their job, so if you're an auto mechanic or you work around chemicals, then you have a 48% increased risk of breast cancer. Wow.
And recently in the news, there's been, more awareness has been brought to the burn pits, which is also a part of military service. I do believe that Joe Biden, Vice President Joe Biden's son, passed away from a cancer that was related to his service in the burn pits. And the other things that you mentioned were pretty much, when you serve, you're going to be exposed to certain chemicals depending on your job. You're going to be exposed to certain field environment type of situations that has been more commonly known in the news. For example, Agent Orange. It has been vastly covered in the news over these years, but recently these burn pits and the toxins that are associated with those are coming to light now. So that's something that for years from now is probably going to also affect soldiers serving, men and women.
Yeah, absolutely. And the third theory is shift work. So a lot of people don't know that if you work at night, that it disrupts your circadian rhythm. And most people don't know that's kind of your natural body's clock that follows the sunlight and makes us sleepy when the sun is setting. Well, this actually has been linked to an increased risk in cancer. And we all know, we've been, you and I have been in the military, we had a lot of nights where we had, we were working on fire shifts and we're out in the field, and working all night.
Yes.
So it's, being in the military is not known for getting really good sleep, right?
Right.
So these interruptions in our sleep make us at a higher risk for cancer. And they found in a 2012 Danish study that female military workers who worked on night shifts were 40% more likely to develop breast cancer.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty staggering.
Yeah.
So get your sleep is definitely one of the tips if you can. But if you have a job, you work on the night shift, there's nothing you can do, right?
There's nothing you can do, especially when you are in service and that's your job. You have to follow those orders. You have to get the job done. So that is very unfortunate, though.
Yeah.
And it's also amazing, and that's why I love doing this show, the Veterans Community Hour, because each week I try to present information that enlightens people so that they can learn something. And I just learned something from you today, Captain Lincoln. So I appreciate you contributing to this show, because 9 out of 10 people would have never thought that your sleep pattern can affect your overall health as far as getting a terminal disease. It's just amazing.
Yeah. And then you talked about this, I think it was 2 shows ago, Cliff, where you did the news. You talked about the Camp Lejeune water supply issue and the contaminated water. Well, that's theory number 4, is that for cancer development, because of the exposure that many of us have had from working on these bases that had contaminated water supply. So and Camp Lejeune specifically, they found volatile organic compounds. They found metal degreasers and dry cleaning agents in the water, and found that workers who were stationed there had higher death rates from all types of cancer compared to other military members who were stationed at other bases.
Right.
So not only were there higher rates of cancer, but there were higher rates of fatal breast cancer in the women who were stationed at Camp Lejeune.
Wow. That is so tragic that they were exposed to the contamination that way. And I feel that way about the citizens of Flint, Michigan, who also have been exposed to dirty water and things like that. But when you're in the military, it's just really sad, because look at all the other things that we have to face and we come through and we made it through. And then your service years later, because of the water you drank or were exposed to at your duty station, is coming back to bite you. So that's just really sad.
Yeah. And then the last theory is if military women, this goes back to that first theory, is better access to healthcare. So women in the military are more likely to be on birth control pills or some sort of hormonal birth control. And this has been long since cited as an increases your risk of developing cancer, more specifically breast cancer and ovarian cancer. So the fact that military women have a little bit more access to health care and are more likely to be on a hormonal pregnancy prevention does increase their breast cancer and other cancer risks. So those are the core theories that are kind of behind why women in the military are more likely to develop, statistically more likely to develop breast cancer.
All right. Now, we also are going to be talking about what can a woman do to help reduce her risk of breast cancer. And I want to get into that conversation because I myself am a cancer survivor. And I know the importance of beating that thing down and coming through okay. And preventative action, preventive measures are very important. And one of those things is definitely related to your nutrition. And you are a nutrition expert as well. And I want to talk a little bit about what women can do. Say, for example, if they eat more plants or green vegetables, or what do you say about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I never present, a problem. That's the military in us, right? We don't like to present a problem without providing some sort of solution, or at least somewhat to help, right? So, I wanted to, provide information about the risks and also provide some information about what has been found that does reduce your risk. So if you can do these things that we're going to talk about, these are all things you can do today. So
great.
This isn't something that you go, well, I'll try to do it one day. This is something you can do today. So all of these things on this list that we're going to talk about are what you can do today. So it's not just about looking cute in a bikini, right, with weight loss and nutrition. It really is about your life. These kinds of things can actually save your life. So we're going to talk about, like you just mentioned, eating more plants, eating just plants in general. So if it grows in the ground or on a tree, then it's probably going to be good for you, right? It's not processed, or hopefully it's more organic, so they're not using those chemicals. So no pesticides. But if you can't buy organic, then just make sure you wash your fruits and vegetables really well, rinse them very well, so you're not getting those volatile organic compounds in your system. So the special thing in plants are called flavonoids, and they have anti-cancer properties. And people who consume more of them actually have a reduced risk of breast cancer. So the more fruits and vegetables you eat, the lower your risk is. So that should be incentive enough to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. The next one is move more. Get at least 300 minutes of exercise or more every week.
Okay, now let's stop right there, Captain Lincoln. Yeah. When you get 300 minutes of exercise or more every week, you have a Fire Team Whiskey protocol that would work perfectly for this factor to help reduce your risk. Can you encourage our listeners a little bit in the direction of getting some kind of fitness routine going on?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I think is special about the Fire Team Whiskey program is it's only 30 minutes. So I know if the average person spends 4 hours in front of a screen, doing non-work stuff every day. So you can take 30 minutes of that and get a workout in. And also we provide modifications for every exercise. So anybody at any level can do our program. So we show modifications for each exercise. So not only will you, be working on your general health and nutrition with the Fire Team Whiskey Fitness program, and you don't need any equipment. So there is no excuse. You've got 30 minutes, you don't need any equipment, you can do it anywhere. So there you go, there's no excuse. So you can do the second thing on this list and get the 300 minutes of exercise. And that's really not a lot. So if you can decrease your cancer risk by at least 9%, breast cancer risk by at least 9% by being physically active.
I really like the way you put that, because to a person who is not in shape, but is concerned about their health, when you see a number like 300, wow, that's going to be, they may be put off by that or discouraged. But the way you broke it down with the Fireteam Whiskey protocol, it's really not that much. And if you could break it down into increments, you could get moving and reduce the risk factor of becoming a breast cancer patient by a little activity every day. And before you know it, that 300 minutes, it will have accumulated, and it will then become a habit, a lifestyle, a hobby.
Absolutely. It's all about changing your lifestyle. So all of these things that we're talking about are not temporary. We want you to live long, right? So we're not just looking at just doing these things for a couple of weeks.
Right.
We're talking about doing this every day for the rest of your life, so you can make sure that your life is going to be longer. Right.
And the thing about any lifestyle change is you have to be committed to it, and the reward is better health. So reducing your factor at becoming a breast cancer patient. Also, we already know, we talk about it every fourth Friday of the month, how beneficial exercise is in helping you lose weight. Nutrition is also helpful in helping you lose weight. So it has residual effects on the positive side, as well as reducing your factor of becoming a breast cancer patient.
Yeah, absolutely. And the third thing going along with that, we were just talking about it, Cliff, is lose body fat. So don't we all want to do that?
Right. Everybody wants to lose a few pounds. Most people, anyway.
Exactly. So one way to reduce your risk of developing breast cancer is by reducing your body fat. And again, it's linked to 300 minutes per week of moderate to vigorous exercise. And that is very effective at cutting body fat and also watching that nutrition. So that is not only a great incentive to feel good and look better in your clothes, but it also reduces your cancer risk. All right, the next one is maintain a healthy blood sugar balance. I love talking about insulin.
Yes.
Right? We did a whole show about insulin a few weeks ago.
Right. So another amazing show, by the way, with great information. Yeah.
And so insulin is this hormone that basically runs everything in our body. All our hormones are kind of related to insulin. And insulin is spiked by the things that we eat. So if it's higher in carbohydrates and sugar, more insulin is released. And insulin tells your body to store fat. So the more carbohydrates and sugar you eat, the more of this insulin is flowing around in your body and telling your body to store fat. So we want to reduce your storage of body fat. So that means you need to reduce your intake of carbs and sugar, which most people don't want to do. But it also, in women specifically, excess estrogen is a problem. And guess where estrogen is stored in our body?
Estrogen is a hormone in women. So I would say it's going to be in their breast area, or
it's in the fatty deposits.
In the fatty deposits. Okay.
It's not just women. Men have estrogen too, although lower levels. But you will notice that men who have a higher body fat, what do they look like they have?
Titties.
So the man boob.
The man boobs.
Why they have them, because they have a lot of storage of fat on their body,
Mm-hmm.
and that means the estrogen is trapped in their body and being stored more and more. So an overweight man who has a higher body fat actually has a lot of estrogen stored, which is why they develop the gynecomastia, which is the technical term for man boobs.
Man boobs, sorry.
Yes. And that actually makes them more at risk, a man more at risk of developing breast cancer. Men do develop breast cancer as well. And this
Yes,
is
they do.
linked to this high level of estrogen.
And thank you for tuning in, Melinda Hobson Coleman's sister Lynn. She made a comment about that. Cancer is a very sensitive subject to her right now because she recently lost a loved one, her father, to cancer. We acknowledge you, Sister Lynn, and your bereavement. And we just want you to hang in there. And we love you here at JHM Radio. You know that. But yes, Stephanie, I just recently heard, well, not recently, but it's been on the news for a while that the drug risperidol is causing men to develop that breast man boob condition. What did you call it? Gynoplasty?
It's called gynecomastia.
Okay, yeah, and lawyers are on TV 3 or 4 in the morning talking about if you develop breasts from taking risperidol, call XYZ. So it's these drugs out here also have side effects on the human body and could cause after side effect conditions. So
if you're on any medications that manipulate your hormones in any way, like if you are diabetic and you do take insulin, this is a risk.
Yes, it is. It is. But again, the nutrition part is very important to your overall health. I mean, even if you have to take these medicines that are necessary for you to stay alive and things like that, I think I'm not a doctor either, and I want to put that out there, but common sense would tell people that the side effects from these medicines are going to cause you health issues. Then you really should focus on health, on your diet and exercise.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the next one, a lot of people are not going to want to hear, and I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but you need to greatly reduce your intake of alcohol. Wah, wah. Sorry.
Now, when you say greatly,
so yes, we hear in the news that red wine, it's good for you.
Right.
Part of protective actions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First of all, I take a red wine supplement, whole food supplement, which we're going to talk about.
Wow.
So I don't actually get the alcohol with it. I just get the good stuff that's found in the grapes. That has anti-cancer and anti-cardiovascular, cardioprotective actions.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, you can get it in a pill form. But the problem is, if you drink on average 2 drinks per day, it can increase your risk of developing cancer by as much as 70%.
Wow. You mean, okay, let me make sure I get this. 2 drinks a day or more increases your risk by 70%?
Yeah, it can increase your risk by 70%. So I highly, and the problem is even just a tiny bit of alcohol increases your risk. Even if you just have a 5-ounce glass of wine per day, it's been found to increase your cancer risk, mainly breast cancer, in women by 13%. So even just a small 5-ounce little glass of wine a day increases your risk by 13%.
Okay, so for people who love their spirits or a frosty mug beverage, could you offer any advice or guidance on how they could still have a drink every now and then, maybe one or two a month? Or would you just say, and when I say one or two a month, so that they could fit into that parameter of greatly reducing their alcohol intake? Or would you just say, just stop drinking, period?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on your lifestyle. I personally do still have alcohol from time to time, but it really is, like you said, a couple times a month.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not, every weekend, all weekend, or every night. And, I've worked with hundreds of clients, and this is a big issue that I run into with helping people improve their nutrition, is the fact that they don't want to give up their alcohol. And, I just want to encourage you to kind of examine why you need this in your life when you know that it can increase your risk of developing cancer. So just examine that, maybe personally, why you feel you need it despite the risk. And, maybe you can kind of work on finding some other ways to replace that alcohol and using it for stress relief, to find some other ways like yoga or working out or punching and kicking a heavy bag for stress relief that will actually reduce your risk of cancer instead of increasing it.
All right.
And then going along with it, you just need to, if you are a smoker, you need to stop smoking.
Yeah. Smoking has been one of the main items or activities for years that we have known that contributes greatly to cancer and increasing your risk of developing cancer. So I kind of knew that was going to be on the list. But talk about that as far as smoking, its risk, and how it's affecting our military servicemen and women, because a lot of active duty people smoke.
Yes, they do. Yep, and I'm glad you mentioned that. So, military, if you have been in the military or in the military, you are more likely to be a smoker or a tobacco user of some sort. And then women who smoke or have smoked in the past, it's been found that it can increase your risk of developing breast cancer by 35% or greater. So, that's significant, 35%.
That is significant.
Alcohol and smoking, if those are the only two things you're willing to do, those are the greatest, put you at the greatest risk. So
those two together is
yeah.
Yeah. That is, like we said earlier, a lifestyle change.
Yes, it is. And there's lots of resources out there, especially if you're a veteran, to help you quit smoking. So look into that for sure. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about is, we talked about kind of earlier with the fruits and vegetables, but eating less processed food and making sure you're including olive oil. Olive oil is a fantastic nutrient. And I have some stats here. So if you take in olive oil and fish oil, so whether it be via a whole food supplement or cooking with this, you can reduce your risk of breast cancer by 25%. And then they found in other studies that up to 45% reduction of breast cancer. So this is just by consuming olive oil and fish oil. And if you don't like the taste of either, that's fine. I take both of these via a supplement as well every single day.
Wow.
And then going along with this whole food supplementation, I am a big fan of supplements, only because I feel like, not that I feel like, I know by research shows that our food, even fruits and vegetables and whole foods, are less nutritious today than they were even like 20, 30, 50 years ago, because of the soil depletion. And also the fact that I don't eat that much. So I only eat one meal a day. So I only have one opportunity to get all of these things into one meal, which is pretty much impossible. So I like whole food supplementation. So you can go to any like GNC or vitamin shop and get whole food supplements. So I take these pretty much all day to make sure I get all of these wonderful nutrients into my body that I may not be eating, to make sure I'm getting them in every day. And some specific ones that have been linked to support breast cancer prevention, I just wanted to mention, are selenium, vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin A, indole-free carbinol, so it's basically in the vegetable family, and then an active folate. So if you can add those plus like a fish oil and an olive oil and a like a red wine supplement, then those would be fantastic for breast cancer prevention.
Excellent. Now, we are wrapping up the show today. I want to make sure that we show a little bit about what you do at Fireteam Whiskey. Share some of those exercise videos, and we should encourage people to get active and get fit and to help reduce their risk of developing breast cancer. And also, there are a couple of more items you have listed here after the whole food supplementation. You have avoiding harmful environmental exposures, including unnecessary hormones. Can you talk a little bit about that one?
Yeah, BP. I'm sure you've heard of BPAs and how those have been linked to breast cancer, lots of different kinds of cancer. Also, increase in body fat, BPAs. So if you have old, like Tupperware, and if you have like Tupperware that's maybe more than 5 years old, you need to throw it away because it probably has BPAs in it, and it's toxic in your environment. And also a great website to look at, like all of your cleaning supplies and your soaps and your shampoos. All of these things can have harmful chemicals. So you want to kind of get your household detox as much as possible. The Environmental Working Group website is a fantastic place to look this stuff up. They should tell you what the safe cleaning supplies are, and soaps and body soaps, and even makeup and deodorant has been linked. Deodorant itself has been linked to increased risk of breast cancer.
And thank you so much.
Right there.
Thank you so much, Captain Lincoln, for this holistic approach to reducing the factors in breast cancer, because this information with the Tupperware is so enlightening, because people keep those plastics and I've read doing some research that when you heat foods and plastic in the microwave, the plastic gets hot and seeps out a cancer-causing a carcinogen in the plastic. And you just mentioned that as well, because growing up, my grandmother had Tupperware from like the 50s and 60s, and people just don't get rid of their Tupperware. As long as it's working, as long as you can store your food in it, you keep it for years and years and years. So thank you so much for giving that alternative thought process to the risk factors. We know about cancer and cigarettes. You shared about the alcohol reduction. We know about some other items that increase our risk, but the environmental exposure, such as some old Tupperware and things like that, is truly, truly beneficial. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And then you also have nurture your natural detox systems.
Yes. So your body is a detox machine.
Okay.
So to utilize it, that means you need to drink lots of water. For those of you who out there who like drink tea or soda all day, that doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
You do need to drink water because that helps you detox these things that we're exposed to every single day, like the things from the Tupperware. And then just making sure that you're eating healthy whole foods. Unprocessed foods help us detox our body, so it's not fighting so hard to process those foods. And then the last one is stress and sleep. So poor sleep and high stress levels are all linked to all sorts of different cancers. And that's also a way to help your body detox because it's functioning well and your body heals when it's sleeping. So if you're not sleeping well, then you're not healing.
All right. Well, we are wrapping up today's edition of the Veterans Community Hour on JHM Radio, sponsored by Fire Team Whiskey. And I'm your host, Libby Cliff, and I am wearing the Fire Team Whiskey hat and t-shirt today. So thank you so much, Captain Lincoln, for
Good.
Yeah. And you as well have on your Fire Team Whiskey shirt. Yes. So we are on the Fire Team Whiskey team together. You are the founder and CEO of this great company, and I want to show our audience a little bit about what you do with Fire Team Whiskey, with the fitness routines and the advice you offer and the motivation that people can see if they visit your website. So I encourage everybody to visit the website. All right, so we're wrapping the show up, and we're going to take it out with Captain Lincoln's videos. Okay, so I want everybody to tune in next week, because we are going to have a great show. Last week I did a show about mental health with Melinda Hobson Coleman, Sister Lynn. Y'all remember Sister Lynn? Sister Lynn was here, and we had a great conversation about mental health and her Toady Foundation. And by the way, Captain Lincoln, you linked up with Sister Lynn and provided her with some of those great nutrition bars. Is that right?
Yes, we did. Actually, they went out in the mail yesterday.
All right. So look for those soon, sister. All right. Now, as I was saying, I'm going to be wrapping the show up, so I won't be back after we go into these videos. But next week, we're going to be talking about mental health again from a mental health professional. And we will also have a candidate who is going to be a guest on the show, Wayne Hartman, who is the Republican candidate for the 7th Congressional District here in Indianapolis. All right. So I want everybody to tune in because Wayne Hartman's going to be here, and he's running for Congress in the 7th District. He's a Republican, but that doesn't matter. We want the best person in there that will represent our interests. And we're going to be having a very, very good discussion about his campaign and what he wants to do. He is also a veteran, and he has seen a lack in the veterans community as far as congressional representation. So we're gonna talk about that. Also, again, we will have a mental health professional here. Julie Hayden will be here from the National Association of Mental Health Institute, and we're gonna have a great show. So I'm out. I'm Cliffy Cliff, and we're going to take you out this week with Fire Team Whiskey protocol videos. Make sure you visit the website at fireteamwhiskey.com and share and like the videos so that we can bring more awareness to this show as well as the Fire Team Whiskey organization. Thank you, Captain Lincoln, for coming on to the Veterans Community Hour.
Thank you, Sir Cliff.
All right. We'll see y'all next week. Good night.